Mhara Grace Starling's Welsh Fairies, a guide to the lore, legends, denizens and deities of the other world, is a new publication from Llewellyn and, of course, from everyone's favourite occult TikToker, Mhara Grace Starling. This is Mara's second major book that I know of. I may be wrong, but this is certainly the second one that I'm aware of. And it's a lot of fun, folks. Listen, I am regularly on the lookout for good quality material on fairies, and it's so rare. It's so rare to find good stuff on fairies. I bought a book at the beginning of the month, actually, that was I didn't have high hopes, but yeah, sure enough, I had to send it back pretty much immediately after opening just a few pages. It was all just personal gnosis, right? Unverified personal gnosis. But this is well-researched stuff, folks. Mara is a specialist of Welsh folklore, and this is the approach that Mara takes throughout the book. So she starts off with a description of the other world altogether, giving us some background, essentially giving us a synopsis of the Mabinogion, which is very cool. The four different branches of the Mabinogi, which is a delight to read. And then in each chapter, she gives us some practices. So for people who would like to take the knowledge gained within each chapter a little bit further into their own personal praxis, Mara gives some details on how you can do that. So I'm just giving you a brief overview of this first chapter, and then you see that you have this exercise. So it's not like in many books where you have the chapter and then just like a little exercise at the end of the chapter to say, hey, I've given you something to do, there you go. This is well integrated. It appears exactly at the point of the chapter where it makes sense for it to appear. And the idea is that little by little throughout the book, you get closer and closer to the details, right? So we're starting off with a chapter on the other world altogether. And then the second chapter is about the fairy king, and then the third chapter is about the more detailed forms of fairy, and generally, the nicknames, the names that are used to describe fairy, and the euphemisms. That's right. Used to describe fairy. And then going a little bit further, you start getting chapters on goblins, ghouls, and phantom fairies, and then gods and spirits of the land, and so it gets a little bit more detailed, right? But every time it is steeped in actual folklore, in actual myth and historical tellings from the region. And I was very pleased, in fact, relieved, should I say, about two or three chapters in, I realized that at the end of the book, there is, in fact, a guide to Welsh pronunciation. There's a lot of native Welsh in here, right? On every single page, you'll find Welsh words. And trying to work out how to pronounce those words isn't always the most evident thing for people who just don't have any Welsh background, right? And so you have a whole chapter over here on how to pronounce those Welsh vowels and the consonants as well, and so on. And then there's a full Welsh glossary with many of the commonly used words throughout the book, and It's delightful. So this isn't just for people trying to get in touch with fairies, although it caters to that public perfectly. And this is going to be the book that I'm going to recommend from now on for people who ask me for a book that introduces them to fairies, just because it's just well researched. I mean, every page has got footnotes and evidence of research from other sources, and no, it's good stuff. You know, when I compare it, as I say, to that other book that I sent back at the beginning of the month, and I won't give names or titles, folks. I'm not into tearing people down, but it really was comical. Essentially it was. Yeah, if you feel like you've like you want to make a cup of tea for the fairies, then make a cup of tea and then take it outside, and then you're done. And how wonderful it is, and, and it was just because I said so basically, and because it feels nice, and and that's about it. No. This is Mhara's actually using, for example, well, she'll give you some traditional. Poems dedicated to the fairies, to specific fairies in specific situations, and then we'll riff on that, for example, right, for maybe a more up-to-date incantation or whatever it might be, right? Here's a quick look at some of the people who have quite rightly endorsed Mhara's work. So that's really cool. It's Matt Oren right there. Very nice. What else can I tell you, folks? Maybe something about the spelling, right? Fairies. Many people seeing this fairies, Fairies, might, the kind of Victorian saccharine idea of fairies might come to mind, but actually Mhara's very clear about why she's chosen this particular spelling at the beginning of her book, and it makes perfectly sense to me, and I really like the explanation that she gives, and I completely agree with the explanation that she gives. I'll let you read that for yourselves. Excuse me. But what I also really liked was Mhara's attitude towards the fairies. So not she actually describes the various attitudes that have existed traditionally and even continue into the modern day. Is the I was just talking about the saccharine attitude that fairies are these cute little things with gossamer wings that will come and bring delight into your gardens. But then there is the maybe possibly more modern idea that the older version of fairies would be completely terrifying and absolutely maleficent and should be avoided at all cost. And actually Mhara's attitude is somewhere in the middle, basically saying that there is just a very wide range, just as there is with human beings, which of course makes very good sense. So I really appreciate that. That's I think that's probably everything that everything useful that I have to say about this very, very nice book. As I say, this is probably going to stay with me, just because it is a book on fairies of high quality, and I've been looking for one for a long, long time, and so I'm delighted about that. Maybe a little word about it being specifically Welsh. Well, at the very, very start, Mhara basically says, listen, yes, this is Welsh culture, and if you'd like to approach the fairies as it's described in this book, then do so. Just be respectful of the culture and feel invited, kind of thing, which is really cool. So I appreciated that as well. The way Mhara has made everyone feel like they could approach the fairies using the methods in the ways described in this book, and I think this is going to be of great interest to many people on many levels, looking for many different things. This caters really to the whole range. So yeah, fantastic work from Mhara Grace Starling, Welsh Fairies, and I'll leave links to that down in the description, of course. Great stuff. Thank you so much for watching my review. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe if you haven't done so already, of course. And then there's a Patreon if you'd like to keep the channel going, help to keep the channel stocked in books and so on. So yeah, there we are. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. See you very soon with another one. Take care. Bye.